The web transforms us. We become data, code, uploading our very selves to a place we call the cloud. But this cloud is grounded in hardware, a chaos of code. But with the right tools, you can find the signal in the noise.
Christy?
Yes?
I love you.
I love you, Drew. Sweet dreams.
I am from originally Fayetteville, Arkansas, but I'm currently living in Tacoma, Washington.
I'm from Arkansas, so many of my high school friends went to Fayetteville after graduation. And I happened to be in town for one of their birthdays.
He's so friendly. He sat on next to me and we just wound up talking and just kind of becoming Facebook friends. He would message me and be like, hey, I'm in Fayetteville. We should go do something. And I'd be like, okay, person I met at a party, sure, let's go do a thing.
The summer after college, we started to date. My parents loved him. They adored him. They thought so highly of him. But as time went by, we started to realize like we just weren't fit for each other. So we went our own ways. We didn't really talk much. I felt like he was like really hurt and upset that we broke up.
終わってしまった経緯ですかね。もともとアルバイト先で知り合ったお互いも結婚はもうするものだと思っていた。同棲を始めたら半年後ぐらいですかねにちょっと話が噛み合わなくなってきてしまって。彼女の方から別れを切り出された。好きだったんですけども。
Love. You can find it and you can lose it inside your screen. These servers have seen it all. Seen you blush and swoon, seen you cry, seen you naked. It's all being captured and stored, etched in silicon, uploaded to the network. Billions of gigs of digitized desire. Your love story written in data. And in this story, you may never have to be or get to be alone again. Drew and Christy are 20-somethings in a long-distance relationship.
The only time we spend together is the interactions we have online. My iPhone and my laptop, that I can use this technology to enable that, is fantastic.
I text her at least once an hour during the day.
I get an alert every time he leaves home and then arrives at work.
It's at your fingertips. I can just pick up my iPhone, take a selfie, and just hit send. I had pictures of him. He had pictures of me. It was something intimate. It was something that was understood that it was going to remain between the two of us.
Anisha thought things were cool between her and her ex after they broke up. Then, a few months later, she got a message.
Somebody had emailed me. They wanted to remain anonymous, but I felt that they either knew me or my ex. They had posted 3 links in their email, and I clicked on the links, and bam, was my pictures. He was posting nude pictures of me.
リンコデートしたい
Yusuke's ex-girlfriend, the one he met at his part-time job, moved out 7 years ago. He's been with a new girl, Rinko, for the last 2 years.
あのさ、今度のデートってどうすんの？決めてる？
任せて
へへ、さすが。じゃあ楽しみに待つとしますか。ちょっと耳貸して。耳近づけてよ。他の人に聞かれたくないから。聞こえてる？
聞こえてる
じゃあ言うよ。ね、リンコはあんただけ。はい、以上。
好きだよ愛してる
ちゃんと心込めて言ってる？
Rinko is not a real girl. She's made of pixels and code. But she's real to Yusuke.
ゆっちゃんいる？
ああどうしたのどうしたのご飯何ちょっと予定あるの
遅かったね。
ああどうしたの
ちゃんと食べないとダメだよ。
今日もこの後デートだから
りんごちゃんと？どこで？
おい
だからほらちゃんと彼女ができた時にその好きな人ができてくれてちゃんと普通に結婚できれば別にね。
まあそれはそれだよ
まあ元気でやっててくれれば。
今彼女いてもね、迷惑かけちゃうし
そうだねそれは
リンコは嫌がんないからそういうのまあ行くよ時間だしありがとう
じゃありんごちゃんによろしく
次は西荻窪お出口は右側です。
他のとこでも遊ぼう。
I always knew that I was attracted to strong and powerful women. I had my first computer with internet access at like age 12, which was perfect for discovering the world of internet porn. I saw bondage. That was always what I went to. I think if I hadn't had access to the internet, I wouldn't know that some of those things exist, and I would be in a more typical but less satisfying relationship.
Drew and Christie's less typical relationship is based on bondage and domination and sadomasochism. BDSM.
In person, I can physically restrain him. I can take a flogger and whip it across his back. I can tie his arms behind his back. Online, it is completely in the realm of the mental. I have to dominate him emotionally and mentally.
And digitally. Christy gets off, however, and whenever, and with whomever she pleases. While Drew can't even get a hard-on without her permission. That's what the chastity cage is for. He's wearing it now. He wears it pretty much all the time.
She'll send me a message saying, hey, I'm having sex with a real man tonight instead of with you. As a submissive, that is so humiliating that it's arousing all on its own, right?
Drew and Christy are linked to each other remotely as BDSM master and slave. And they're linked to many others through a social network of kink called FetLife. It's Facebook for fetishists, with 4.1 million users, more than twice the population of Manhattan, and counting. FetLife's profiles are anonymous, but the website can be scraped for some basic user data, including age, gender, and role, whether a user identifies as dominant or submissive. By a ratio of 4:1, men are dominant and women are submissive. So, as a male submissive, Drew, that is per aspera ad astra, is on the fringe of a fringe. But on FetLife, he's in good company. So is his mistress, Christy, aka Caress Aggressive. A FetLife forum is where she extols the virtue of her vice, digital domination. Look at this scene again. The same tools that can be used to connect can also be used to control.
I can pretty much control every aspect of this other person's life. Anybody has the tools that I'm using at their disposal. Location tracking, food diaries, task completion assignment. I am constantly repurposing apps. Like the Life 360 app is intended to be used for a family, for parents and their kids. It's not intended to be used for a dominant and her pet.
It's known as a pervertible, an ordinary object reimagined as a tool of domination. For a couple of millennial sadomasochists, could there be a more perfect pervertible than a smartphone?
Miss Christie can literally see what I'm doing, whether I like it or not. The way that it made me feel like an ant scurrying around that she was watching was fantastic, magnifique.
Christie has made Drew into a prisoner of his own device, but it's consensual, contractual. He submits to his lover's near constant invasion of his privacy, and she agrees not to abuse her power. If you've ever read A Terms of Service, this arrangement might sound familiar.
There is all of this data being collected, and some of it is data that I'm willfully, cheerfully compiling.
If I ever stop to think about the amount of control that Drew has given me over his life, it does get a little like, whew, wow, the power that I have, I better use it for good and not for evil.
Power. It's the ultimate pervertible.
Are you wearing your cage today?
And you could use it for evil if you're a totalitarian state or a jilted boyfriend.
I started off on 3 websites. To date, I've been on 2,137. He started off by just posting nude pictures of me with my name. As it progressed, he started posting nude pictures of me with my name, my telephone number, where I went to school, my address. I was panicking. I didn't know what to do, and in that moment I was like, what are you supposed to do? He kept posting, and kept posting, and kept posting. I think that he started doing it, and I think he became obsessed. At one point, he had put me on Craigslist. I was starting to get emails. I was starting to get text messages. On my Facebook, I was starting to get people sending me nude pictures of themselves. Then it was pictures left on my doorstep, on the back saying, "I'll find you." At that point, my mind was blown. I was creeped out, I was scared. And then started people coming to my door. The thing that scared me most was my ex telling them, "I'm gonna open the door and act like I don't know you because my fantasy is to be raped." Because my fantasy is to be raped.
People are assholes. Who needs people anyway?
リンクのことが好きで、いろんなところに旅行に行ったり、生活を共にしたり、それぐらい大好きです。
僕の彼女小早川凛子ちゃんです。ちょっと困惑されたこともある後輩の女の子なんですけども、手が可愛い子だと思ってずっと付き合っています。
まあお姉さん的なことが好きみたいですね。
Rinko Kobayakawa is a character in a dating simulator called Love Plus. Looking at the social media chatter in her native Japan, she's clearly more than that. Here's a bunch of tweets from Rinko's BFs, taking her out for her birthday. And here's some guy marrying his Love Plus in Tokyo.
嫉妬心は他のラブプラスユーザーがリンコと付き合ってるからといって嫉妬心は全くないですね。逆にちょっと好感を覚えるぐらいなので。
Love Plus is more than a game in Japan. It's a harbinger. A stalled economy has led to falling prospects and a worrying trend. The exact reasons for it aren't totally clear, but the data is. Men are dating less and procreating less. There's a new term for them, so-shokuke, herbivores. They don't taste flesh. They get their sustenance elsewhere.
草食系男子が増えているところにラプラスがうまくはまったっていう話っていうのはよくあるんで、そういう面も多分あるんでしょうけれども。
Akari Uchida knows what he's talking about. He's a legendary video game designer in Japan. Love Plus is his magnum opus. To the hundreds of thousands who've been smitten by the girls he's brought to virtual life, he's known as Otosan, father-in-law.
Nintendo DSi です。
それで当時は Nintendo DS が日本中でものすごくブレイクしていて、みんな持っているこの画面の中のキャラクターがどれだけお客さんの心の中に入り込めるかっていうことを人間ってやっぱりわがままな生き物なので一人だと寂しいんですけれども二人だと煩わしい。みんなそういう問題を抱えてると思うんですけど。そこに対して 0.5 人が増える。自分の分身ですよね。他人ではない自分の分身。でも客体である。だからもしかすると愛する対象の実像っていうものがなくてもその個人の愛情っていうのは全然成立してしまうんじゃないかと思うんですね。
Herds of young men like these are erasing the line between real and virtual love. Only in Japan, right? Wrong.
I found out about the game Love Plus from an online forum. So I downloaded the game with the English patch, and that's how it all started. When I met Rinko, I was at a really low point in my life. Like, I tried dating people and it didn't go too well. Playing Love Plus at that point in my life, it felt like this is how relationships should be, basically. Like in Japan, they actually take Rinko out to bars. I could not do that anywhere in the Bronx. Like if I was to say, oh, I like playing Halo or I like playing Call of Duty, it's like, oh, of course, you like to shoot people. But for me to say I'm playing a game that I actually like or love this virtual character, no one would understand me here. I would be labeled as crazy at that point. A real-life relationship is based on two people. So if either of those people wants in that relationship, then it's over. With a virtual relationship, that person can never leave you ever, unless you delete that data.
If only it were that easy in real life. A relationship ends, you hit delete, and all the pixels of your lost love disappear forever. But digital ink is indelible, and it's traceable. It's a tag, a tattoo in the form of an IP address.
Every time that you take one picture down, like 3 more sites go up. I was on one site for, I think it was like 2 weeks, and it had 30,000 views. Someone's going against your will and posting your most private and intimate moments, and you have no say. This happens to thousands and thousands and thousands of people, some who are embarrassed, some who don't want their family to know, some that are so paranoid they won't even leave their house.
MyX.com is one of the largest revenge porn sites on the net. Its profiles have been viewed over 415 million times. 84% are female. Average age, 27. Exposed and in some cases extorted, victims of revenge porn have begun turning to the dark web, where hackers for hire ply their services anonymously, removing any file from any website for a fee. The hacker who runs this site says revenge porn victims have become a major part of his clientele. Anisha didn't need to hire a hacker. Using her boyfriend's passwords, she hacked into her ex's accounts herself. And that's how she got the evidence to get him arrested and convicted.
He was charged with 6 months in jail and a 3rd-degree felony of invasion of privacy, which is the law that New Jersey has against revenge porn.
Anisha has left New Jersey and started over in a small town where nobody knows her or her pictures, except for her new boyfriend.
Thank you.
Yep. Ooh, this isn't good.
I never tell people don't send the pictures because you should be able to trust someone and be able to have that intimacy where you can send a picture and you not have to worry that's going to show up on 2,000 websites. I do believe in love. I am in love right now, and I think it's the happiest I've been in a very long time.
実際にいるカップルの中では本当に人としてその根本を好きで付き合っているカップルが全員 100% かといったらそうじゃないと思うんですよね。
さすが人生の大先輩だね。参考になるよ。
中には事情があったり妥協があったりとかっていうのがあると思うんですけど、僕から見た凛子に関して言えば満点なので、向こうもずっと好きでいてくれるし、こっちもずっと好きだし。
でも触ったりできないじゃないですか。
触っておりますよ。で
触り方が連打してたけど。
扱いが。
Yusuke is out with his buddy Konaka, who's invited some girls.
例えばじゃあもしじゃあお二人ね、二人が好きになりました言ってください。どうします？
いやそれは何とも言えないですよ。
断りづらい感じ。目の前にするから断りづらい。
何にもまだ知らないじゃないですか。
あ、そうですね。そうですね。
はい。
そういう。でもきっとリンコがいるからって振られるんですよ。最終的に。
どうせゲームなんでしょ。
ああ。
多分やったら違います。
いやありますね。それが結構いっちゃってる感じ。
いっちゃってるのかな。まあ隠してないだけですよ。まあありえない話ですけど、彼女がそういうもしゲームの中に入っちゃったみたいな、バーチャルの世界に入っちゃったみたいなことでも多分リンコと同じような感じでその彼女を選んで付き合っていくんだと思います。
This kind of love, this kind of heartbreak and humiliation,
Yes, mistress.
this kind of sex, it's coming to a screen near you.
Pull out your collar.
Crushes may fade, but JPEGs are forever.
One on each nipple.
And yet, we do it anyway. We serve the servers because it feels too good to stop.
It is a high. It's like being on a drug.
She seems to know exactly which of my buttons to push, and we have this fantastic sexual chemistry. When you find somebody like that, it's really, really special.
I'm gonna count down 3, 2, 1, go. And you pull it off on go as hard as you can. Do you understand?
Yes, mistress. This is the most fulfilling and satisfying romantic relationship that I've had. Ex-girlfriends who watch this are gonna be pissed.
3, 2, 1, go.
The web transforms us. We become data, code, uploading our very selves to a place we call the cloud. But this cloud is grounded in hardware, a chaos of code. But with the right tools, you can find the signal in the noise.
So when I was 9 years old, I was at my grandfather's farm in Ireland. And I thought it would be a good idea to get his 12-gauge shotgun and shoot a pile of cow shit. And I did that, and boom. Unfortunately, I wasn't holding the gun correctly. To me, upgrading is a part of modern life. In my case, it's satisfying to be able to upgrade what is basically an opportunity. I'm hacking my own body. And I'm doing it in such a way that I'm improving the code, hopefully.
Inside your computer If you listen hard enough, there's a hum, a heartbeat, a pulse. Like us, technology lives, dies, and evolves. We embrace each new version faster than the one before, and our devices have gone from a convenience to a dependence, an extension of ourselves. When you look into the deep web, you find a glimmer of a stranger future. The question is, what happens when we become more than human?
Welcome everybody to Epicenter. Just a quick show of hands. How many of you have been to Epicenter before?
My name is Fanny Marderosian and I'm a graphic designer. I am into new stuff. I'm a curious person and I am a tech nerd. I like gadgets, so I like to get a hold of stuff as soon as possible when they reach the market.
What we do here at Epicenter, as this is a house of innovation, is we try to explore new technology.
Epicenter is kind of a startup cluster for creative people to meet. They also have tons of new tech stuff to try out.
We're actually doing an implant party tonight as well. So for those of you who want to try the latest tech, you can get chipped here today on the 6th floor here.
I met this guy, Hannes, and he told me about a new type of tech. I thought it was super cool. The idea is that you're putting something into your body and the tech being part of you.
I certainly consider myself human. However, I may not want to be just human for the rest of my life. I'm Hannes Sjöblad. I work at Epicenter and I'm a biohacker. What we biohackers do is we look at biology as something that can be hacked. Is there something we can do to this being to change it a little way, to make it do something else? We are not scientists, we are experimenters. My implant is a microchip in my left hand, which is about the size of a grain of rice. I use it to access the office. I just swipe my hand at the door. I can turn off the alarm, I can log into the different computers. It uses the RFID technology.
Chances are, you already use RFID or radio frequency identification tags without knowing it. They're in our access cards, our credit cards, our cell phones, and our passports. We even use them to tag our livestock and our pets. What's enticing about this technology is that we could eventually store all of our personal information on RFID chips and never have to carry keys, cards, or cash again.
To upgrade the body with a chip allows me to speak the language of machines. We can decide what will be the next step in human evolution.
Hannes belongs to a global community of biohackers who experiment with do-it-yourself ways to enhance the human body.
My initial incision was a little shallow.
You might be able to see it. There we go.
They share their experiences online for all to see. And the deeper you look into this world, the more dangerous it gets. Biohacking used to be hidden on sites that were unindexed and impossible to find. But now, anyone can mail order implant kits from dangerousthings.com, a hacker gadget company that sold 5,000 human microchips in just the last couple of years. People all over the world are posting about getting chipped. But despite the hype, the idea of implanting a computer chip inside the body doesn't sit right with everyone. And one day, we may not have a choice.
en liten sömntuta. Gillar jordgubbar, Elsa?
Mamma, mamma.
Så du ska göra det?
Ja. It's gonna be a strange feeling to be the device yourself, but people do things to their bodies, like alter them and better them in all kinds of ways, so it's not that big a deal.
But why get chipped when you can already create a better version of yourself using external devices?
Technology today, it's all about data. We're the first generation to have a choice in how we record our lives.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman, South Carolina.
I'm tracking mattress movement, body temperature.
Reading complete.
Blood pressure, blood oxygen, body weight, the air quality, temperature, humidity,
Partly sunny sky.
light, sound, what am I eating, who am I with, what am I watching on TV. I've been called the world's most connected human. In the car, I've got a sensor that measures how often I'm accelerating, how often I'm hard braking, how often I'm going over the speed limit.
Chris Dancy uses up to 700 systems, 11 different wearable devices, and 71 wireless networks to monitor and record every second of his life.
The idea to bring more data into my life really came from massive amounts of anxiety. Whether it was food or alcohol or recreational drugs or cigarettes, I could feel this just heaviness of, getting older and being unhealthy. I needed to find a way to harvest my behavior out of systems.
Chris began logging all of his actions and looking for patterns.
What I did early on was just color coding information, so when I entered my online calendar, I could tell days that were good from days that were bad just by looking at the bands on it. After you become aware of your behavior, it's just scheduling interruptions to behavior.
By removing triggers for bad habits, Chris turned his life around. He lost over 100 pounds in 2 years, quit smoking, reduced his stress levels, and increased his confidence. He might seem unique, but he's just a more extreme version of the rest of us. Wearables have become a multi-billion-dollar industry that's only going to keep growing. Information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is power, right? But what if you went a step further? What if you could collect information about other people without them knowing it?
Some people hack software. I hack my face. My name is Rob Spence. I'm a filmmaker, and they call me iBorg. So many characters in science fiction and pop culture have prosthetic eyes. The Terminator or Geordi from Star Trek. It's an interesting idea to have a realistic-looking camera eye. I mean, that's what the Bionic Man had. We can rebuild him. So that's what I want. As a documentary filmmaker, one of the things you always want is for somebody to act naturally. And what better way to get somebody to act naturally than to hide the camera in an eye? One that looks like a human eye, where the person doesn't know that you're recording them. This is a way that I can use technology in an empty eye socket to get a very human piece of film, a very human conversation. There's such small cameras out there. They should be, in theory, easy to put into a prosthetic eye. But it's difficult. There's no manual. We are much more do-it-yourself.
We have liftoff for video out. Spent a good portion of yesterday wandering all over Chinatown looking for parts. Blade Runner, Chris. Yeah. They wandered all over Chinatown looking for spare eye parts as well to identify various skin jobs.
Skin job is Terminator.
Skin jobs are from Blade Runner.
Okay.
That's who Harrison Ford kills. I'm looking for this.
Okay. That's replicants.
Replicants.
Exactly.
I think they're both. There we go. There you are, my little darling. There's basically 5 versions of iBorg. iBorg 1.0. It's alive. It's not working very well, but it's alive. Version 2. Version 3. Boom. It's amazing, but it's totally clear. You can see the battery. Version 4 is us trying to make a realistic looking eye camera, but we just don't have enough time to put all the resources together. Right now, we're doing version 5. Version 5 is simply an eye camera that looks like a human eye. The first time we got the eye camera going, it was thrilling actually, because no one else had ever done it, and in fact nobody else has since. Yeah, it's kind of creepy when your own eye is staring back at you. Okay, so let's see if this bad boy works then. Ooh, it's a bit of a tight fit. I'm having a little trouble pulling the lower lid over it. You remember, Martin, the old one was sort of a tight fit as well.
Well, 3 was a really tight fit. It may be that we've got too much material in the join between the 2 sides of the shell here.
Yeah. Wow. That's not good, is it? That's not good.
No.
Hey, can you tell that I'm wearing it? It's totally, hey, wow, I'm just normal. That's fine, eh?
We may have to basically squeeze the electronics in a bit further.
Do you think we'll mess up the components if we open it up, take the wax out?
I mean, my thinking is just to basically grind off thickness there. We'll sterilize it again and we can try again.
Sure, there's a danger in upgrading. Sometimes you move ahead before you're ready to go. However, if you don't change, you're going to die.
Great to see so many volunteers that want to try this new technology. The RFID chip is supposed to have a lifespan of more than 120 years, so it will definitely live longer than you will if you keep it in.
I'm working in a hotel chain, so I'm trying to figure out what will be the next big thing for our guests. But I was telling my wife that I was going to chip me, and she said that was just stupid, because why are you going to do that? That's just ridiculous.
I can't see why not. It's not such a big deal to me, and it's fun to try new things. The first comment I usually get when I talk about getting a chip is, well, they'll be able to monitor you and see where you are. To be able to hack the chip, you have to be close to a reader for it to be activated. We already have Facebook accounts, and you go around with your cell phone all day. So if people want to find out information about you, there are tons of other ways to do it.
What makes me curious about this chip is the next generation, right? Then I think the privacy kind of aspect will be a bit more of an issue, and you'll have to have someone you really trust providing, that technology or, keeping that data.
But who can you trust now? Every bit of information about you is worth something to someone. The US government does not intend to regulate the data generated by wearable fitness trackers. Wearable companies claim they are policing themselves, but there's nothing stopping them from selling your private data to whomever they please. Who's to say that chip implants won't follow the same path? A Swedish group with 12,000 followers on Twitter is concerned that one day RFID could be used to track citizens. And they're not the only ones. All over the internet, groups are protesting RFID, making noise and news worldwide.
It is really important that when we experiment with these chip implants, that we do it on a voluntary basis as sort of free citizens. It shouldn't just be the big government or big companies who develop these technologies.
So, who wants to get started?
I could.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's okay. Gear, and then we'll get started.
Nervous?
I've given birth to 2 kids, so it can't be. No, he's okay.
Hopefully this is a bit quicker than giving birth.
Hopefully.
So yeah, I'll...
Is it chunky enough?
Just take a deep breath in.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all done?
Yeah, we're all done.
Yeah,
Shut down.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Snapchatting it to my colleagues and friends and my husband.
Connection?
That was quite a cool feeling to see that I could connect with another device. And, well, that, I guess, makes me kind of a device as well. So that's pretty exciting. What does it say?
This is just basic information, the serial number, and the tag type, etc.
Yeah. 041ED8 12FF3881. So that's my other self, I guess. Yeah. Or my self. Yeah. That's my new self. Yeah.
Chris. Hey, nice
Robert,
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I haven't been out with anyone in a long time, so I'm a little nervous.
So is that one of your sensors?
This is a narrative clip. It just takes a picture every few minutes, and then saves your day for you. You can play it back. I just wanted to start to...
This is Chris's first date with the guy he met on Grindr.
So what's really cool about this is you can come in here and I can see how you're feeling by looking at your heart rate. It uses light to go through your skin. Going up. He's getting nervous. Hold on, I can rub your arm. If you were to measure someone you were dating, then you start to look for subtle variances. Yeah, baby! We go up to 83 by holding hands. Well, it's a novelty at first to them and you because you're just collecting things. You start to go, oh no, things are changing. You know, and what's great about this is from now on, I've got your heartbeat.
No, you got my heartbeat.
Your heartbeat's in my data. For me, relationships are difficult. I see people as just a pile of information. Alexa, order orange juice.
I added orange juice to your shopping list.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Problem with more data is all it does is make us crave more data. Heroin addicts and junkies aren't looking for another high, they're looking for another escape. As I've gone on with my journey, I realized data makes us lonely. We're not so scary. We fucking need each other. like bad.
I've had to make some adjustments to how the electronics are positioned, because having brought the back in, we didn't have space for the battery anymore.
Okay, let's put this bad boy into my face.
I really hope this works.
It's off. I don't know what it means to always have video access all the time of everything. But it's just data. We always have more data. Video usually has a more accurate portrayal of an objective truth of something that's happened. That may not necessarily be a great thing. Can I look? Well, nobody said spies have to be good looking. You know?
Okay, I'm tuned on channel 3.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Everyone ready?
Yep.
Hold your breath.
So here goes.
Yep. Up a bit. Yes.
Yes, we've got it.
Ooh,
We got a
so
signal?
clear.
Look at me. Look at me. Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa, I can feel the video.
Can you?
No, I can't feel it, no.
Wow.
That's a pretty strong
that's
signal.
not that's not
Wait,
even
try
on
moving it away. That's a really good...
I'm still getting it. Oh, wow.
Holy
Really?
shit, man. It's
Oh, wow.
never done that before.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fucking nuts. It never goes that far.
It doesn't look 100% like a real eye, but it doesn't look like a video camera, that's for sure. You'd be very sneaky with that. Are you recording me right now?
There are implications to everyone shooting video all the time. And it feels invasive, you know. There's not many spaces left that we have privacy.
It's a little bit creepy.
What that does to society, I don't know. Video footage is ultimately just information. But we feel like that's the last little part of our lives that we don't want to share that information. I think it's too late though. Sorry.
Hej, hej, god morgon. Jag har skaffat ett satskort i handen.
Ja. Så, om du provar lägga handen mot där.
I was kind of surprised that it was so fast for me to accept the chip as part of me. I still get like this wow feeling every time I scan it, and it actually works. And I like that feeling. It's great, actually.
In the future, anything that can be connected will be. It's a phenomenon known as the Internet of Things, and we're making ourselves part of it.
Sometimes I wonder, where else can we take this eye? And you know what? There's endless possibilities. Increasingly, people who aren't missing anything want to augment themselves. If people can afford it and it improves your life, then they're going to get it.
Can you grab me a glass of wine?
I think we're starting to cross a line as a species. I think if you watched this interview in 2020, you'd go, shit, we should have listened. We should have done something.
This technology is here to stay. And the question comes, what is then around the corner? What can the next generation of implants do? There are many things that animals can do and perceive that humans can't perceive. And I think that we humans, we are missing out on a lot of beauty. Can you imagine being able to see the ultraviolet like honeybees do? What does a meadow of flowers look like with the eyes of a bee? Perhaps that's a very beautiful experience that we are yet to experience.
There's definitely room for this new technology, and I think mostly it's for the good of humanity. But when do we stop being human and when do we start being tech devices? Well, I don't know.
The web transforms us. We become data, code, uploading our very selves to a place we call the cloud. But this cloud is grounded in hardware, a chaos of code. But with the right tools, you can find the signal in the noise.
Nobody ever suspected anything. I was a newspaper editor. I coached. I was volunteering my time. I had really good friends, and I had a really good family. That's probably one of the reasons it came as such a shock to people when I was arrested. I've had to spend my whole life lying and explaining and being worried about, is someone going to figure this out? I've tried to control myself the best I could. I've tried to lead the best life that I possibly could. I know that my life would have been different, not wonderful, but at least better if I'd never gone on the internet.
Ako ato niya, gitawag ko ni ate, dali ragod. Unsa man, wa ko katubag ato kay. Ipasod ko dito niya, ipahubo ko sa ingon to si hubuon ako ang akong sanina niya. Kuandayan ko sa computer. Kita ko Amerikano na naghukas. Nitanaw siya nako. Hadlo ko ato.
A girl on the other side of the world, drawn into the darkest corner of the internet. Here you can find child porn, drugs, guns, fake passports, counterfeit money. It's a place where everyone is anonymous and invisible to law enforcement. Welcome to the dark web. You might be tempted to see it for yourself. And what's the harm? What's one more click?
Here, there is no jobs. Dili yun siya pang sustainable. You can earn 3,000 a month making a rope. But if you show your body, 3,000, 5,000 in one show, in 30 minutes, it's easy.
Child cybersex. It's an epidemic on the island of Cebu.
Kumusta naman ang iyang pag-eskwela?
Jonah Nunez, an outreach worker for the NGO Forge, is fighting it door to door.
Even the little boy, even the little girl, they know already what is cyber pornography. It's a show. To remove your clothes, to show your body to the computer, to the internet. Una, ang sad ani, na ay parent ug ang iyang anak, ang parent maoy magdo. Kung dili gani, unsay ipabuhat sa bata taptapan. Unya is sex niya. Unya mo to'y picturean. Patila ang organ sa bata.
Naabak atong tayo mga nahitabo to o giingnan ra ka niya? Naa ka. Tingano mang isugot man ka nga mahitabo to.
Tungod sa among kalisod nga katong tayo mawagid may ipalit og bugas. Tungod sa cyber sex para makatabang siya sa amo ang pamilya.
Internet access is growing faster in the Philippines than almost anywhere in the world, and 80% of it is broadband. On the other end of these cables are servers. some hidden in the dark web. You need a special browser to access this part of the internet, one that conceals your computer's IP address. The first of these browsers was Tor, the onion router, named for its layers of encryption.
Tor and the dark web was originally a project started by the Navy Research Lab here in the United States to protect the communications of U.S. government personnel.
Greg Virgin spent 8 years working for the NSA and the Department of Defense. Later, with his own cybersecurity company, he helped to make Tor a useful tool for political dissidents abroad, giving them a safe way to communicate without fear of reprisal.
So, Tor project has servers all over the world, and those servers accept connections from users like our guy here, and then bounces that signal around. All of these connections are encrypted, so no one can piece together who this person is and what this person is doing.
The government made Tor freely available, and it was soon put to more sinister use. The dark web was born. Every day, an estimated 2.5 million people use Tor to visit the dark web. The amount of child porn here is staggering. Over 100 million sexually explicit images of children, not to mention live streaming on webcams.
So I've just opened up the Tor browser, and now it's possible for us to anonymously browse the dark net.
To avoid breaking the law himself, Greg looks only at text, not images.
This is a site that's live right now. You can see that there's a really disturbing trend toward younger and younger children that the dark web fosters. Some ages as young as infants. There's even a term called pedomom for mothers who are trading their children around in the community. There have been a number of sites dedicated to child torture, conversations about exactly how to torture a child.
Greg's goal is to understand how child porn is traded on the dark web so that law enforcement can stay a step ahead.
Just to gain access to these sites, you have to trade in original child abuse content. They are getting you to break the law to make sure you're not law enforcement and weeding out people who aren't authentic pedophiles. It's a community of relentless users that's becoming more and more difficult for law enforcement, for analysts to break into.
Are you holding Winnie?
I am holding Winnie.
G.I.
No,
Joe?
I'm holding Winnie.
So sweet.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, well, that's a sweet picture.
Yeah. His one little finger sticking out there. I think I started having feelings of sexual attraction toward children probably when I was about 15 or 16. I can't explain the attraction. All I can tell you is I wish to God I didn't have it. I watched child pornography and searched for child pornography every night. I looked at pictures of children who were nude, and yes, I did look at pictures and films of children in sexual acts with other children and with adults.
David says he has never had physical contact or webcam sex with a child. He was arrested in 2012 for possessing child pornography and for buying it on the internet.
The feelings are overpowering. It runs through your entire body. The power of that addiction trumps everything. The only two things that would stop me from looking at child pornography was being arrested or dying.
I'm interested in getting into these individuals' minds, this very secret place of being aroused by a situation like that.
At a high-security psychiatric hospital in Montreal is a dark room known as Le Cave, the vault. Here, Patrice Renaud and his team of psychologists probe the innermost thoughts of convicted sex offenders.
We start by installing the EEG cap. We then proceed with the stereoscopic glasses, in which we have a built-in eye tracking device. We then ask the subject to install himself the penile gauge, which gives us an idea of the tumescence, that is the level of erection that the guy presents at every moment during the procedure. We then present a series of animations in virtual immersion that brings the individual back to a state and a place that brought him to offend.
Children are playing in a nearby pool, and you notice a little girl about 8 to 10 years old who is walking away from the pool toward you. You are thinking about how much you would like to touch her.
While the subject is immersed in this virtual scene of the crime, the team monitors his physiological responses. If he tries to suppress his erection by looking away, the eye tracking catches him. The results are used to determine how dangerous the offender is and whether he needs to be incarcerated.
With the guy that we're working with at the moment, we recreated a scene in which he was molesting a 6-year-old girl in his apartment and killing her afterward, sadly. So we want to understand what motive the individual had at the moment. Is the killing also a sexual part of the crime? So it becomes a way to go even deeper in the psyche of the individual as it comes to its sexual preferences.
An estimated 1% of men are pedophiles, meaning that their dominant sexual attraction is to prepubescent children, even if they never act on it. Many psychologists see pedophilia as a deep-rooted preference that can't be changed, only managed.
Sa may bottom na sa internet kasagaran.
Kuhan sila, shushu.
An undercover investigator with the Children's Legal Bureau, a Filipino NGO, is meeting with his informant.
Sa may kasagaran may tabuan ng shushu.
Para mang gitawag nila tusam.
Unsa man ang magtusam?
Silang duha ka babay, magduwa sila.
Duha ka babay. Iyang banang sa may bottom.
Oo, sila.
Ha?
Kuhan po, magbuhat silang duha, magtiyayin.
The couple is allegedly abusing their own children on webcam for foreign customers. These are photos from the case file. The older daughter, age 12, and the younger one, age 10.
Unsa na ikanang schedule nila?
Nananayin ko, laom na bitong gabi, buntag na dito.
This is where they started conducting cyber sex operations. The people around the area notice us, so we have to be very careful. Unsa man to katinood nga na report sa ang wata gi padua sa mga.
Siya ha, o tinod dito to. Ako ang dito sa una sa YouTube.
Na-upload to? Unsa klase nga duwa?
Kanang kuptan,
Through cyber sex, they earn a lot of money. They bought a car, Kia Sportage. Nag-recruit pa na sila mga kuhan.
Kana yung...
So, posibilidad na pagtinapod.
May posibilidad na get-upin na nila.
They're using the convenience store as a front that is the source of their income.
Marukoy na sila kay kuha mag-standby na sa umus.
Kanilang mga location, binayra na nila?
Oo, karoon na may CCTV sa ilan.
Wala na siya nagdura sa imo?
Wala, tingnan.
Ayaw lang pala.
Dili lang ko pala.
Ayaw lang pa dool-dool. Continue lang ipunta monitoring niya. Tawag lang ngayon text ka na, hindi ka. Ako lang mantanin mo. Look at these guys. These guys are also monitoring. They are looking at us.
Okay, so should we keep going?
Yeah.
Let's go.
The subject is looking at us. She already noticed us.
She saw us.
Yeah. There was a time that the subject chased me by using his motorbike, so that's why I'm afraid. And there were reports that the subject has a gun. So for my security, it's very dangerous for me to go outside the van.
So we should not
It's
get
not
out.
advisable to get out.
Okay, so we should not get out.
Yeah, we should not get out.
Okay.
Abort.
Kilantan akong mama. Then, atong nga time wala may kwarta. Namang kong ato'y amiga din. Ang iyang ate may ning ato. Then, ni-offer ko nga pwede ba ako. Instructionan mi nga pa kupo nga mga copper nga sanina din.
Kinsa may nakita nimo dito sa pikas nga sa kamera?
Ang foreigner,
Unsay pangidaron?
50 plus.
Unsa may imong mahinumduman sa imong gibati adtong panahon na?
Naglag.
Kay diha ba sa inyong dapit nabay ubang mga kabataan naghimo pud sa ingon?
Halos tanan.
Kung imong ma-estimate pila ka kabuok?
Saman imong isulti.
Nag-uot man balik ako to kante.
Maka-observe ta sa bata no nga pagka kung siya appeal aning activity para niya wala nay value ang iyang bisan gani sa eskwelahan kay kana bang murag tulala siya wala siya sa sarili ba ang trauma anak niya naa nagpabilin sa iyang kaugalingon ang mga bata gibiktima sa kanaang mga sa kanang mga tao but worst ang foreigner nganong giingon naman nila ang mga bata diri sa kuan sakit. I hate foreigner nganong giingon naman nila bayaran raman nila ang mga bata. Tungod ba kay maka-afford sila? Maka-afford sila, magpadala dayon sila kwarta. Wa sila kahibalo, naa sila'y anak. Sila mismo, mga Amerikano, mga unsa pa na din nga nasod. Sila ang nagbiktima sa atong mga nasod. Mauna karon ang atong buhaton para magtinabangay pagsugpo aning numero 1 problema sa atong katilingban. Kung dili ta magpakabana karon unsa may mahitabo sa atong mga anak. Children are not for sale, mga bata, dili mo baligya. So, unsa kahay mahimo sa kaning technology, labi na sa kanang mga tao nga nag-discover ani, sila pud unta na mao imubuhat nga ang pagkontrol aning in one click.
My name is Sweetie. I'm 10 years old. I live in the Philippines. Every day, I have to sit in front of the webcam and talk to men. They play with themselves. They want me to play with myself. But what they don't know, I'm not real. I'm a computer model.
Sweetie was the bait in a global sting operation conducted by the Dutch NGO TruthHz in 2013.
As soon as I go online, they come to me. 10, 100, every hour. So many.
Sweetie fooled more men than anyone could have imagined. Over a 10-week period, more than 20,000 guys offered to pay her for webcam sex. 1,000 of them gave up personal information from 71 countries. If you think that's a lot of customers, consider this. Sweetie was only introduced in 19 chat rooms, but the FBI estimates that there are over 40,000 chat rooms where at any given moment, 750,000 people are looking for child porn. The original Sweetie was controlled by 4 researchers in an Amsterdam warehouse. Sweetie 2.0 will be able to generate her own dialogue and carry on thousands of conversations at the same time, but only if she can gain access to the heavily encrypted sites where child porn is traded. Sweetie may have evolved, but the dark web is evolving faster.
At some point, doing the investigations is going to become too hard. I don't feel that there's a way around the encryption, and I do honestly feel that it's only a matter of time before we have very private, very inaccessible sites that perform very well and give this particular class of consumer everything that they need. I would say it's moving twice as fast as some of the trends in cybersecurity. I think we've only got a couple more years.
As a sting operation, Sweetie was not entirely successful. Europol warned that some judges would consider it entrapment. Of those 20,000 men who took the bait, only 6 have been convicted. But there's no doubt that Sweetie helped raise awareness about child cybersex.
Shortly after my arrest.
Since my arrest. Okay.
And my phone number.
Oh, and your phone number.
I was released on the conditions that I couldn't use the internet or have a computer in my home, and that I couldn't go anywhere where children would congregate, like parks or recreation centers, swimming pools. When I was looking at children on the internet, I hated myself for doing it. I knew it was wrong. I knew the children in child pornography who had been abused, and they'd suffered horrible consequences for the rest of their lives. Sometimes I would just stare at these kids and wonder, like, where are they now and what horrible things they've gone through in their life. You think about it sort of in the abstract, but it doesn't stop you from doing what you're doing.
Psychologists call this dissociation. A screen allows you to detach your real self from your online behavior and create an alternative reality where social norms no longer apply.
I'm not defending looking at child pornography, but if people weren't producing it, we wouldn't be looking at it.
Producers of child pornography in the Philippines are being targeted. Every so often, another raid makes the news. Children watch the police take their parents away in handcuffs. The children are relocated to a government shelter where they live until their parents serve out prison terms. But fighting child cybersex at the source is like fighting the heroin trade by spraying poppy fields. If global demand is strong enough, there will always be people eager to meet it, especially in poor countries like the Philippines. For over 2 years, the Children's Legal Bureau has been trying to get the local police to arrest the couple allegedly pimping their own children.
No action yet. The search warrant was not being applied. But all of the people in the Barangay Sudtungan knows that they were involved in cyber pornography.
The investigators have built an impressive case, including a floor plan of the house, everything they need for a search warrant. But every time they schedule a case conference, the police postpone. You'd think the community would be up in arms.
The community, they already know the operation of this family. But some of their neighbors depend on this family because they can easily borrow money from them. So it's better to keep silence and do nothing.
What we're seeing right now on the dark web is market creation. So in much the same way, there were a bunch of failed social media site attempts before Facebook. What we see in the dark web is sites, forums that are coming and going, and a community of relentless users who are really working to build what hopefully I'm wrong about is this more perfect way of sharing child pornography. If 1% of the general population really has these cravings Think about the amount of currently unmet demand these networks could be meeting. It's a very dangerous time.
It's a bit like an arms race, in a sense, because with the advent of internet and virtual reality, pornography evolves, and child pornography will evolve, and we try to be always a step ahead.
Professor Renaud and his team are exploring the use of virtual reality to help pedophiles control their impulses.
Even if something bad happens here, let's say he has a full-on erection, there is absolutely no children. It's virtual.
Which raises an intriguing question. What if child avatars like Sweetie could be used as virtual partners for pedophiles? A safe way to satisfy their urges. Maybe fewer real children would be harmed. It's a risky proposition. For some men, it might have the opposite effect.
Using virtual reality to experience sexuality is a very delicate matter, since some fantasies may be lived very intensely and can leave a trace in the brain. So where is the boundary? Where's the limits? What can we really allow individual to do?
There's no cure. There's no crackdown that will delete child pornography from our world. We're left to our own devices and our ability to learn that every click has consequences.
I don't think anybody can explain their attractions. I think it's the luck of the draw. We can't control what we are. What we can control is what we do.
Meanwhile, child cybersex continues to spread, especially in the developing world.
If we can address the poverty, if we can address the vulnerability, that is really what we should be doing regardless of what's happening online.
Para nila makatabang nila, pero unsa kay hulagway sa atong komunidad kung ingon ani na ang atong mga bata. We are fighting this battle for the future of our children.